Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deck tech, and it's arguably probably going to be my last deck tech before the Battle Hardened event this weekend. I put out a post on Twitter stating that I was switching from Viserai, which is a hero I've been playing a lot, right in the Blitz meta and the skirmish meta, and just practicing for the Battle Hardened. I haven't been able to go to a lot of skirmishes just because I've had a lot of work on the weekends. My work involves a lot of weekend work, but I'll be off all of this month, so I'll be able to go to the Battle Hardened in like the last 2 weeks of skirmish, which is really nice. However, I'm switching from Viserai to Dorinthea for two reasons. One, like the one disclaimer I say is I know Viserai is overall a better deck. Like, I'm not unaware of that, and I get it. But two reasons I'm switching is, one, I still like Dorinthea in this set. I think she's one of the more undervalued decks in the format right now, both Dawnblade and Axes. So that's one reason. And the second reason is I just don't have fun playing the Viserai deck. And it's not because it's like just like not fun because it's so good, but like the deck it's not enjoyable. It's like, what I like about CC Viserai is that you have to think through your lines, and there's all these different things you can do and like all this crazy stuff. And yes, Viserai is still decently deep in the Blitz format, but not quite as much as I would like it to be. And the deck's just not fun to play. And the one kind of like tactical thing about the deck that I don't like is it really requires a 3 to 4 card hand in order to really do anything, unless you get really lucky and can just build Rune Chance the turn before, which can happen. But there's at times where it's not, quite viable with that many cards from hands. The reason I like Dorinthea from a play style perspective is I can block with 2 cards from hand almost every turn if I want to, and then come back with 6 to 8 damage myself. So it's really good for value blocking, and then whittling your opponent down and eventually trying to take the game over the top at the very end. And then on good turns, like when they don't come in with a ton of damage, you only block with maybe 1 card from hand or equipment, and then you come back at them for a big turn. So we'll get right into the deck. It is an Axes build. It's not a Dawnblade build. I like both builds. Personally, I think Dawnblade has a better ceiling than Axes, but I think Axes has a higher floor, if that makes any sense at all. I think that overall, I think that Dawnblade can like hit harder, but Axes has better turns, consistent like hand over hand, and also allows you to block a little bit more efficiently while still presenting decent turns. But yeah, we're running the Axes build. The normal equipment suite that we have, sorry, my skull cap's actually over here with Viserai, which is kind of funny. We're running skull cap at the headpiece, right? Findel Spring Tunic at the chest piece, Gallantry Gold at arms, and Valiant Dynamo at the legs. Skull cap's pretty obvious, right? Just block value really good over the course. And then also for Arcane Barrier for bat down life, which honestly is really good with Dorinthea because I'm running 14 blues in this deck, and I typically have 1 blue in hand, if not 2. So it's really good for that, with 1 source of 3. Findel Spring Tunic is a key. The 2 key drivers to this deck from an equipment standpoint, they're basically irreplaceable, are Tunic and Dynamo. Dynamo is going to get you like 4 to 5 block a game on average, 3 to 4 block a game. I would say 3 minimum, arguably 4 or 5, which is just amazing value. And then Tunic's going to allow you to get those big pop-off turns as well. Gallantry Gold is really good. I don't have Rage Force Bracers, but even if I did, I probably would still run Gallantry Gold. Basically, you're picking between 2 things. Rage Force Bracers will give you 3 block total over its lifespan, and then it has the +1 buff if a weapon has hit this turn, which is nice, but a weapon has to hit, right? Still viable, still good, but overall, Gallantry Gold has 1 block, so it doesn't have the 3 that Rage Force Bracers has. So you're giving up 2 block, but what you are getting is both of your axes will get +1 that turn. This is really good. If I can hit like a Nourishing Emptiness and have a 6-card hand, maybe only give up 1 card, counting my Arsenal, a 6-card hand, only give up 1 card and then have a 5-card hand, right? With Tunic resource online, and I use my Tunic resource to pop Gallantry Gold. Now I have a 5-card hand with my axes getting +1 attack. It's just really good for those big swing turns, and it still blocks for 1, so it's good. In the sideboard, my sideboard's a little weird. Basically, it's just going against Kano. To be completely honest, I don't have Courage of Bladehold in here. I know you can use it just for block fodder, but Tunic's so vital to this deck, I wouldn't even use it anyway. But I'm running the full Null Rune suite against Kano. I'm running AB4. Kano is kind of a grindy matchup for me because I kind of need my blue from hand. So what I try to do is pick my spots, run AB4, be able to block out his really big swing turns as much as I can, and then just whittle and grind him down. And then finally, I have Gauntlet in here for Benji, or if I want to like maybe with someone where I just want a little bit more equipment block. Honestly, this last equipment slot's kind of like a throwaway. I haven't decided what else I would possibly want here. But Gauntlet's been the best for like a Benji player, or even sometimes Oldheim. If I think it's going to be like a really aggro Oldheim, I can use it in order to pitch, in order to be able to block for 2. But the thing about this is most of my attacks or most of my cards block for 3 anyway. So this is actually more useful against like a Viserai, because I'm able to like pitch 1, block 2, have 2 floating for his rune chance. So essentially I'm blocking for 4 with 1 card. It's really nice for that. But that's the equipment suite. That's what I'm running. But that, like I said, that last spot's a little weird. It's just kind of like how it's going with me right now. But the equipment's pretty standard. You're going to run the same thing every single time. You don't have to think about a bunch of different things, because her game plan and what she's trying to do is pretty consistent. And overall just really good. So we'll put this up here while his axe is on top. Sorry, y'all. We'll put Dorinthea up there in the top right for y'all. So for this one, so first thing we'll start with is our blues. For the blues, I'm running 14 in the deck. The core point of this game plan, right, is you always want to have a blue in hand at the end of your blocking turn. So, you know, having 14 blues allows us to consistently have a blue in every hand, but potentially 2. And all my blues, I'm trying to either give go again, give a pump, or obviously block 3 pitch is what the main portion of this is. Some blues I took out. I originally had blue out for blood in here, but I noticed that I wanted to have as many 0 cost blues as I could. My first thing with blues always is pitch and block 3, right? But if I have to play them, I want them to be useful. Out for blood at blue is a 1 cost that if they've blocked from hand, it's a +2. If they haven't blocked from hand, it's only a +1. And at 1 cost for a blue to only give +1 or +2 just wasn't worth it for me. So what I ended up doing, I swapped it out for Outland Skirmish. Gives the same +1 effect that Out for Blood would without the prize, but it doesn't cost anything. So it's a little bit better in my opinion, just for value. If you're having to give a +2 buff on an Out for Blood at blue, you're probably already stretching to try to somehow win the game anyway, and you're probably at a bad spot. That's just my opinion. I run Outland Skirmish. The other like go again drivers, right, are Glint, Blade Runner, and Hit and Run. We're running a full set of Blade Runner and Hit and Runs in this deck, like spoiler alert. I think everybody knew that. But these 6 blues right here are really good for the go again. For Glint, it can give any card go again. And if they've attacked from a card from hand, then you draw. So it's really nice to be able for them to have to play around. And then these 4 blues over here are just good pumps. In the Swing is good on your second axe, right, for +1. And Outland Skirmish is good for +1 as well. And then these final 2 are just kind of like good value cards that if you absolutely needed to use them. Overpower's a 3 cost, but you would only use this really on the reprise effect to give it +4. Still not amazing, but it's still pretty decent for a blue 3-block blue. And then Push Forward, I like using this. If I have a 4-card hand with Tunic or 5-card hand, and I use like a Spillblood turn, or not even Spillblood, but like a plus the +2 go again buff. Oh my goodness, I am totally blanking right now. Please forgive me. I swear I know this deck. Not Spillblood, but Spoils War. Sorry about that. Spoils War, we get +2 go again, and then you play your axe, and then you play Overpower with the Tunic resource, giving your next one +1. So now it's aiming for 4 Dominate or something like that. I don't know. It's just good for like pushing that. What I'm trying to say is it's good for pushing Dominate on that second axe if they're like 1 life or something with no equipment. It's really good for that. But overall, these 14 blues are really just 3-block pitch. The only ones that you're consistently using for the utility aspect is these 6 right here: Glint, Blade Runner, and Hit and Run. You are using those more times than not if you want to or if you can. So that's the 14 blues in the deck. Getting into the yellows, we're running 6 yellows. Again, Hit and Run and Blade Runners are the pretty obvious ones, right? Like I said, full play set of these in the deck. These are your main forces and drivers for go again. It's just really good for that. Yellow Blade Runner, your second axe is going to be hitting for 5. So it's really good for that. And then I'm running 2 Singeing Steel Blades. I was running none, then I was running 1, now I'm running 2. I understand the negatives with this card if they don't block with cards from hand, but I want to be able to present that reprise effect as much as humanly possible. I'm presenting it with Out for Bloods. I'm presenting it with Glint. I'm presenting it with Singeing. I'm presenting it with a lot of different stuff. And I want the best thing for me is for them, even if they don't block with from hand, is for them to see one Singeing early in the game and then be afraid of it for the rest of the game. It forces your opponent to either overblock significantly or not block at all with cards from hand, which isn't good for them because you're going to be dealing, 8 to 10 damage a turn, 6 to 8 damage a turn, while also blocking for 6 to 7. So they're going to be giving up a lot of life for you to just come back and block really efficiently. When this card works at its best, though, is amazing, right? Like, if you don't have a blade, there's a couple ways this card's useful. If you pitch a blue, you swing with Axe for 2, they block it or something like that, and then you Singeing to go get a Blade Runner to try to give your attack go again, right? Where I like to use this the most is I hit and run, I pitch a blue, I Axe for 2 with go again, and then I play maybe like an Outland Skirmish or something like that, and then finally a Singeing Steel Blade, so my last Axe is hitting for 6, and they might block with one card from hand just to try to chip some damage because they just don't want to take 8 to the face. You Singeing Steel Blade, you search your deck for like an In the Swing for +3, and then be able to hit with your last attack for 10 or 9. I've even had Spill Blood turns where it gets +2 Dominate, where my second Axe was coming in for 5 Dominate, and then they obviously blocked with one card from hand to try to present some stuff for 3, and I use Singeing Steel Blade and then go get 8 in the swing, and all of a sudden it's 8 Dominate. So there's a lot of different stuff you can do with this thing. At the very worst, it's a +1 buff, and it's a yellow pitch block 3, so it's really useful. I really like it. Some people don't run it in Axis Dory, but I've found a lot of success with it, to be completely honest, and I don't know what you would run that has a bigger upside, in my opinion. That's just how I play the deck. At Reds, so the 1-ofs that we have in the deck are Nourishing Emptiness and Rout. Nourishing Emptiness is just really good, right? 2 for 6 Dominate. I don't like seeing this early game. I like seeing this mid game because a lot of times I'm playing against Oldheims. I'm playing against Viscerais. I'm playing against Kasai's. They have all 3 have a lot of equipment block. So if you see this early in the game, it's actually bad because they're probably going to block it out with their equipment. But if you're mid game and you've made them use Skullcap once, you've made them use their chess piece once, whatever, to block, and then you come in with the 6 Dominate, it's just really, really nice for that. To be able to, get that intellect buff and be able to continue your next turn with a good positive outlook. The next one is Rout. I love this card. I almost put 2 in the deck. I love this card in 2 situations. I love it to end games, and I love it to start games. I've had a Spill Blood turn 1, right, where I pitched a blue, played Spill Blood, had 2 cards left in hand, had a Rout and another blue. Played that Axe, right, for 4 Dominate. They block with 1 card from hand just to try to prevent a little bit of damage. And then I ended up routing with pitching my last card, give it a +3, so it's 7 Dominate. The card goes back to their hand, and all of a sudden the game is already 13 to 20, turn 1. And then, depending on how my cards went, I'll even just block from, block it, or I'll just Arsenal Pass if I still have 1 card left in hand, and then I just dealt 7 damage to them without them doing anything. Or better yet, I'll just even Axe for 2, and they block 2, right? Because they're like, I don't want to take stupid damage. I'm just going to block with 1 card from hand. Well, then you Rout, giving it +3. They go down 5 life, and then you Arsenal Pass. And what you basically just did was they took 5 life. They didn't get to filter their hand at all, and you still got to Arsenal and Pass. So it's really useful for that, and just overall like a really good card. And then obviously at the end of games, like, this closes out games for you and helps you just win. So I love that card as well. Here, we'll keep the Reds out. So we're running 1 of each of those in the deck. Then we're running our 4 defense reactions, Steel Blade Shunt and Sink Blows. Obviously really good. Sink is really good if we don't have a blue in hand, right? And we want to Sink to try to cycle a card out and then get a blue, so then we can block with 1 more card later in the turn and then have a 2-card hand for next turn. Steel Blade Shunt is amazing. If you can Arsenal this and play it off a Tunic, it's even better because you can keep your 4-card hand and block for 6. Just really good value, and just in general, it's really good. What I've noticed about this deck that I really like against heroes like Viscerai is it has a lot of 3 blocks, pretty much all 3 blocks. I don't think there's even actually a 2-block in this deck. They're all 3 blocks. So you can block his 4 breakpoints really easily with 1 card in hand and Dynamo. Or like if he comes in with the Amplify the Arknight, it's really good for Steelblade Shunt, right, to fully block it out. It's just really good value. So I'm really enjoying those. So 4 defense reactions in the deck. And then we're running red out for Bloods, red Blade Runners, red Hit and Run. Again, like I said, the full suite of those. Red Spill Blood, red In the Swing, Spoils of War, and then Outland Skirmish. So Blade Runner, Hit and Run are kind of enough said, like no need to explanation. It's just to give go again and give that buff if we can with Blade Runner, especially Blade Runner red's amazing because you attack with your first axe for 2. Especially if you have like a hand that I love that's such a simple hand is literally just a 3-card hand with Outland Skirmish, Blade Runner, and a blue. You play Outland Skirmish, you pitch a blue, play your first axe for 5, play Blade Runner, and then play your second axe for 6. Like it's 11 damage hand off 3 cards, which is super nice. So those are kind of self-explanatory. Out for Blood red, just amazing value. It's a 1-cost 3 buff attack reaction, and then if they block with a card from hand, it's 4. So it's a 1 for 4 on any attack. It's not like second swing where it has to be the second axe. It's just really good value. It's one of the best value attack reactions in the game. Spoils of War, kind of enough said about this. Gives your first attack +2 and go again, which is really nice, especially on those turns like I love doing this on turns like where I have an Outland Skirmish again or any 0-cost buff where I can buff it, then play Spoils of War. My first attack is coming in for +5 go again. And then, you know, you're swinging with your first axe for 7 and your second axe for 3 minimum. Unless you have even if you have another card in hand, you can do it even more. In the swing, I love going and getting this off a Singeing Steelblade. It's good to close out games as well. If you play it off a Spill Blood turn, you spill blood, you hit and run, spill blood, pitch a blue, 2 floating. You swing with your first axe, right, for 4 go again, or 4 dominate go again, and then you come in with your second axe, which is already coming in for 3. And then it gets the +2 buff, making it 5 dominate, and then you play in the swing, making it 8 dominate. As an attack reaction, just really good value, really good overall. And then finally, Outland Skirmish. I'm playing this over like a Steelblade. I don't run cash-ins in my deck, but this is a 0-cost pump 3, which is really good. And like if you don't know my deck, which some people might have seen this video, who knows? I don't care about making copper. I don't have cash-in. I don't want my deck to revolve around that. But when people see me make copper, like without knowing my deck, you're going to be incentivized to attack a little bit more. And it's kind of because people are so used to seeing Gasai, they're going to overblock a little bit in order to like make the most of the deck, or like make the most of their blocks. So that's the basis of it. So that's the deck, 40 cards. I'll have the deck list down in the description below. But like I said, game plan is block with 1 to 2 cards from hand. Have good high value blocks, keep your dynamo counter off so you can keep value blocking, and while also whittling your opponent down. And then once you get your opponent down to like 4 or 5 life, then you start using those attack reactions like Out for Blood and in the swing and spill blood and stuff like that to really like put the game away. And your Blade Runners, and your route. So that's what I'm trying to do. Again, I've noticed really good success from it so far. I'm really enjoying the deck. It's one of my favorite decks to play. I'm definitely going to be playing CC as well alongside Katsu once we get back in the CC season. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the deck. Any changes you guys would make. I'm pretty confident in the deck so far. There's definitely some things like kind of flavor wise that you'd probably rather have in the deck. But overall, like I don't have a card in here that I'm not super confident on. And I really enjoy the deck. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want. If not me, go to another Flesh and Blood creator, do the same thing for them so we can get more people seeing this game. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.